device, just head on over to SuperTalk TV. You'll see that the studio exploded with people over the last segment. It's a good thing. We've got with us Chef Catherine Bruce. She has joined us before from Clinton High School. She brought Chef Josh Phillips. He's also with the ProStart Educators there at Clinton. And two of their students, Hope and Treasure, are joining us today. So welcome all.
Thank you.
And I think you all just won something big. So Chef Bruce, what did y'all just bring home?
Yes, so we were just part of the Mississippi ProStart Invitational, which was held at the Brandon Civic Center. It was hosted by the Mississippi Hospitality and Restaurant Association. 6 schools from around the state participated. Teams of 4 to 5 students were able to come and cook and prepare a 3-course menu in about 60 minutes with lots of different parameters around that to participate in. So it was fantastic, and these guys were part of the winning team.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, so today is National Grilled Cheese Day, so I have to ask Hope and Treasure, how do you like your grilled cheese?
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
I actually had grilled cheese last night, and I had it with tomato soup.
Tomato soup. That's not bad at all. How about you, Treasure?
I like it with garlic butter on the top instead of regular butter. It's so good.
Chefs, y'all are creating great at-home cooks sort of already. I'm thinking at their ages, because how old are you ladies?
I'm 17.
I'm 18.
Okay, was not worried about garlic butter or like pairing it with tomato soup or sort of anything like that. But I also set y'all up for that before for Good Things started, and they both went into straight like, oh my gosh, she's going to ask us technical questions about like grilled cheese. So Chef Phillips, I mean, is this part of like not asking technical questions, but like is that part of this program that they learn things like that, like temperatures and like
Definitely,
expectations?
yeah. So I teach level 1, and that's a lot where we do the food safety aspect of it. So they learn how to store food properly in the refrigerator so they don't cross-contaminate. They learn how to cook food to the proper temperature to kill any pathogens or bacteria, all sorts of stuff like that.
Well, and I think those are not only really neat skills to learn, but also life skills to start teaching. So, Chef Bruce, like, at what age can students start to take part in these culinary programs within their high schools?
Yes, so our program starts in 10th grade and runs through their senior year. They have the option of taking level 1 and level 2, and then if they want, they can interview for our internship program, which is the level 3. And we hand select just a few students for that, and that is more mentoring, competition, like a teacher's aid program where they help us and assist us in the kitchen.
So, girls, have y'all been through, I guess, all 3 levels?
No, this is our second one.
So y'all are on the second level. So Treasure, because this is like voluntary, correct? Y'all chose to go into this at Clinton High School. You didn't necessarily have to do it, which I think everybody should know how to make a grilled cheese. But what led you to wanting to do the culinary program there at Clinton High?
I've never really been in the kitchen. My mom always cooked, and so I really wanted to learn like a technical style, but also learn like family traditions and recipes that come from like deep in generations.
Were you surprised at how easy or how hard cooking was once you got in there?
Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's hard depending on what we're doing, especially knife skills. They're really hard to me.
You watch your finger, like you hold your fingers back and watch and make sure we're not nicking it. That's me with my daughter. I'm like, please don't lose the finger when sort of learning it as well. Hope, you can move that mic a little closer to you and sort of tell us what inspired you to try the culinary program there at Clinton.
I feel like I'm more of like, not the majority, but like more basic. I was just kind of like, I think it'd be fun. Let's, try it out. And it has been really fun. I've met a lot of really cool people. Done a lot of really cool stuff.
Did you have any culinary background prior to coming into class?
My mom cooks a lot, and I help her sometimes, so I knew a little bit, but I definitely learned a lot more than I was expecting to learn.
Right, because the more, like your parents, Chef Phillips, is normally just like, hey, come up beside me, stir something, flip it over.
Correct.
And then I can remember my first culinary class as a dietitian. It's like, you got to measure things? Like there's math involved?
Yes.
Like, what are we sort of doing this? So how do y'all approach it specifically in that level 1 where it's not intimidating, but then it's also not too easy because, I mean, there is some just introductory things to cooking.
So we go over a lot of things like just even equipment identification and just trying to figure out what we call it in the industry versus at home. And so like a spatula, for instance, there's rubber spatulas, there's Turner spatulas, just getting them in used to those names and those things, and then we move into the technical things. So we start with measuring. That's one of the first things that we do, and teach them how to level off like a measuring cup, because volume measurement is very different from weight measurement and those kind of things. But we try to make it fun and do fun things like making brownies and Rice Krispies the first few times, something they're familiar with, but maybe not the steps that go with it.
Are you surprised at how good students can be in the kitchen and how bad students can be in the kitchen?
Yes to both of those. Yes, because it's fun when they have confidence and then they walk in and then it's kind of all goes downhill.
When they can burn boiling water, and then
Yes.
you can totally see
Yep.
sort of that way.
Yep.
Hope, what would be your first flub in the kitchen? You can move that mic closer to you. Yes, Hope, sorry. I went the wrong way.
I don't think I've had any like crazy mess ups. I will say last year or earlier this year, I picked up a really hot pan, which I had turned to the side so that it wouldn't be hot. And I picked up the handle and somehow it's still hot and it completely burned my hand and it just went everywhere.
I think you and every other home cook in Mississippi is nodding their head. They remember the first time that sort of happened. And I remember teaching my oldest, and she would always go to grab it. And finally I just said, you know what? Like, grab it, girl. If you think you need to grab it, and you're only going to do it once. And if she did, she just tapped her hand on it and only sort of did it once. I bet you will test it next time before you grab onto it.
Yeah, lesson learned. Definitely never again.
Definitely never again. Okay, Trezor, for you, have you had like a fun flop? Or I hope you hadn't hurt yourself. I didn't mean to set her up for that.
No, I haven't hurt myself. One time I measured in grams, and it was supposed to be liquid measurement, and so I had to do that all the way back over. And I had just got done with it, and then they were like, no, you have to do this all the way back over, and it was really bad.
Yeah, if you mess up with the like grams, ounces,
Yep.
whatever it may be when you're cooking something, that can be a little bit of a I guess it messes everything up is what I'm trying to say. Chef Bruce, so at what point do y'all start to kind of like teach the knife skills or like move into that next sort of level of experience for your students there at Clinton?
So level 1, they definitely do the basics as far as what Chef Phillips has already said. Level 2 is where we go a little deeper, more full plate oriented, cooking the whole meal, really getting into the kitchen almost every day versus just a few times a week. So it moves into that. And from that, we start to pick our competition teams and have them trying out for that and moving on to those higher levels of learning.
So the competition team girls, is that something, Treasure, that you wanted to do from the get-go, or was it you got like suckered into it, voluntold? Wait, your teacher's here. I mean, you were so excited to do it.
I was excited to do it. I was also a little nervous, so I backed out at the beginning, and then I came back in, and I was like, I definitely want to do this again. And she was like, okay, we're down for it. And we're like, okay, I'm in.
Well, Hope, you said yourself, you were kind of like, oh, go with the flow. Let's do it. Everybody's doing it. That's really not the attitude for like competing. So how did you find yourself on the competition team?
It's actually the exact same thing. I was not planning on doing it at all. And then Treasure actually texted me while I was shopping, I was shopping, and she texted me, and she was like, hey, you want to be our manager? And I was like, I don't know anything about that. And she was like, it's easy, just do it. And I was like, okay. And now I'm here.
Don't you love kids? Like that is like that's how it goes. Okay, so manager, that's not something, Chef Bruce, you think of when you think of you're like a team in the kitchen. Although if you've had any of, I guess, a back of the house experience, now that I'm saying it, you would. But what are those roles on the team?
So because we have 3 dishes to prepare in 60 minutes, we have a student assigned to each dish. Then the 4th student's assigned to sauces. So he's our saucier. The one this year's preparing 4 of the sauces for the team. And then you have an optional manager position that is vital to winning, I really think. And Hope, yes, she nods. So Hope fills that role. And the manager position is not allowed on the inside of the kitchen area. They are on the outside with a clipboard, timers, and they have a list of what each of the 4 are supposed to do within that 60 minutes. And she is there coaching, reminding them of things. I mean, it's a detailed list with everything, when to wash their hands, when to sanitize their table. Each of those things are point deductions if you don't do them. So her role is vital as far as just being the extra set of eyes, because the students don't realize how nervous they get once they're in there with the judges. And so being in the Brandon competition, I think they realized how helpful it was to have Hope there reminding them, go wash your hands, flip this over, add this salt, don't forget to wipe your plate off, or whatever it was. So.
So, Treasure, what you're telling me when you text Hope while she was shopping is you knew she was bossy enough to be the manager.
Definitely.
It's okay. It's okay, Hope. You know, if you got skills, sort of, are you an only child? No, I'm just kidding. If you are, that's hysterical.
I have 4 siblings.
Okay. Are you the oldest?
I'm the youngest.
Oh,
Right.
None of my things went to plan for that. But it sounded like everything came to plan for you guys there at Clinton because you all walked away with the win. What was the official title for the win?
First place, Culinary Arts for the state of Mississippi.
For the state of Mississippi. We've got more with that team coming up next here on Good Things Station. And don't forget, you can watch us when you're on your computer, your mobile device. Just head on over to SuperTalk TV. We're continuing our conversation with the Clinton High School's Culinary Arts program. And we've got Chef Bruce, Chef Phillips, as well as 2 of their, culinary students. We've got Hope and we've got Treasure with us today. Chef Phillips, I want to ask about the ProStart curriculum because that is the curriculum that you guys use to sort of teach your level 1, level 2s, and sort of level 3s. Why did Clinton High choose that?
It is nationally known. It's written by the National Restaurant Association Education Foundation, and so it's a nationally recognized curriculum, and so it's the best, and so that's why we use it. It's awesome. We have great support through the Mississippi Hospitality and Restaurant Association that's affiliated with that as well, and so it not only gives us the top level curriculum, it gives us sponsors, it gives us partners, it gives us funds. There's so many benefits to it.
And it sounds like, Chef Bruce, that this program is really geared towards obviously linking what they're supposed to be learning into the classroom and to bringing it to the kitchen, which anybody who bakes or cooks says there's so many sort of parallels to that. But also opening students up to the wonderful employment opportunities that could be in the culinary field or hospitality field. Is that sort of wrapped into it as well within the level 1, 2, and 3s, even though it's a life skill too?
Right.
But there's
Right.
also, yeah.
Absolutely. We really focus on getting the students out into the industry and even easier bringing the industry into us. So we have guest speakers from around Jackson. Some of the top chefs here have all come into the kitchen and done demonstrations for the students. Some of the local businessmen come in and talk to them about the ins and outs of running a restaurant, all of the things that go into it that the students don't think about on a regular basis. So yes, we really try to have a nice mix of field trips and guest speakers to expose them to all that they can.
It's not just competition.
Not just
competitions, but that is a cool part. And so, Shepherds, is this offered across the state? I know we're talking about here in Clinton High School, but is this offered in other areas?
Yes, there are, I think 72, is that correct?
74.
74 ProStart programs. 43, just kidding.
That's it.
Math is hard, and I'm a terrible baker.
It's Friday. 43 programs throughout the state. Most of our high schools do offer some version of the ProStart program. Some of them are smaller home kitchens, and it's a smaller program. Some of them, like ours, have a huge commercial kitchen and dining room where they can do, we offer catering and the full restaurant experience where the students can get the front of house and back of house in there. So.
Hope, I know by now that you've sort of did this on the whim, taking the culinary arts, but now that you've sort of seen it, I mean, are there thoughts of going into culinary for like a career, or is this still just more of like these are really cool life lessons and things learned that I mean, obviously you're going to grow up to cook for a family or whatever, but has it opened your eyes to other potential professional opportunities?
I will say, I don't think I'm going to go into the food industry, but like for now, I definitely think it's opened me to like being willing to try and getting like jobs, like part-time jobs before like I officially settle down and stuff. And also just, like you said, teaching me a lot of really good stuff that I can use later on in life.
Absolutely. Knowing all the right temperatures to cook things will make
Absolutely.
you won't burn that mac and cheese whenever you get there. But how about for you, Treasure? Were you interested? I know you wanted to come in and sort of better understand like cultural culinary skills or just all the things, but have you been opened up to this world of industry that maybe you didn't know was there?
Yes, I definitely have, but I don't think I would like to go into the industry. I definitely would like to experience more like international cuisines and like try stuff outside of just American and other nationalities.
Well, that in itself, I think, is great when you open kids up to just exploring and learning about different cultures through food, which you can definitely do. And it's neat to me to hear, Chef Phillips, how much you guys can travel, right? Like y'all travel with these teams. I didn't, you think of like, you have to do a traditional sport for your kids to have these opportunities to get outside of the school to go and sort of do. But where all have you taken the team?
We took them to Disney last year, which was really fun. We did a competition and competed against how many? 63 different teams from across the country. And that one there specifically was focused on international foods. And so they got assigned a continent and that kind of stuff. Just recently, we went to New York City and did a culinary tour of New York City, which was really awesome for our students. I think we got to get a guided tour of Chinatown and Little Italy, which was really cool. They got to sample all sorts of different types of ethnically, like real, not Americanized food, which was really cool.
So pasta, not noodles.
Right. Like they got to see like real traditional gnocchi and cannoli and different things. And it's not like the Americanized like chicken parm that they're used to. And so it was really, really cool.
And Chef Bruce, you said y'all even got more on the docket for the rest of the year. So where else are y'all traveling to?
So since this team placed first in Brandon at the Mississippi ProStart competition, we will be traveling to Baltimore April 25th through 29th. That's where the national competition's held. So we'll be there with all 50 states representing Mississippi. And it is an exciting trip. We get 5 days in Baltimore, and it's sponsored by the Mississippi Restaurant Association, which is so wonderful that these students get to do that, and it's sponsored. And so we also will go to Atlanta this summer for another competition with Skills USA with some of our winners from that competition. So
Treasure, what's it like on the competition? I'd say floor kitchen. I don't know how to say it. Are you now looking at Food Network and seeing like Chopped and all the things and being like, I got this?
Yes. I've definitely talked about that with Chef. I was like, we can definitely do this. Like, we could go on here and we could rock their world. Like, we would eat this up. And I'm so excited for national.
So how do you hold your nerves? I mean, it can get pretty spicy in a kitchen when, you're trying to do things fast, but it also has to come. It can't just be burnt. It actually has to taste good. So how have you also learned to work as a team to make sure that gets done?
I trust my team like 100%. Like, they're really my family. So, like, you have to know that your team can back you up, like, either way it goes, especially Hope always singing to us and making sure like we're good and we got things down pat and ready.
So Hope, it sounds like one good thing about being a manager is not just being bossy, but you do it in a calm way, which I think is going to take you so far in life you have no idea.
Yes,
Absolutely.
But how do you stay calm when you see like everything that needs to be done or keep going? Like how is it on the competition floor with that?
It's definitely less stressful not having to cook, just being there to observe. But you kind of just have to think about your own team. It doesn't matter what anyone else is doing. I think the last competition, there was one team and they were really loud. There was a lot of clanging going on, and I was just like, guys, don't pay attention to them. I'm singing Careless Whisper. Just focus on me. Focus on what we're doing over here. And it went pretty smoothly, so...
Chef Phillips, you start to see these schools who win like all the time in football or baseball, and you start to see other students being drawn to those schools for those particular programs, right? Because you don't get to just go out and pick your teams. You are, no offense, ladies, but you're stuck with who's coming up, right? Like, yes. I mean, who's within the school system. But it feels like Clinton has really sort of poised itself as being a ProStart pro. I mean, in terms of what y'all are putting out. What do you attribute to that?
I definitely think it's the camaraderie between Chef Bruce and myself. We dovetail very well. Our backgrounds really work well together. I'm definitely more of a back of the house person. She's definitely more of a front of the house person, and it's really cool how it's all worked out. Everything that I love, she's kind of like, I can do that, but it's not my thing, and vice versa. And so we work really well together. And I think the most important thing is just having a good time. Like, we try to create a culture in our classrooms of family, of just, you're safe here. This is fun. Food is just one of those things that I really feel like you can dive deeper into a relationship with. Like, think about if you're just going and have coffee versus if you're sitting down and having a meal with someone. And I think doing that and teaching someone how to do that, there's a lot of opportunity for mentorship. There's a lot of opportunity for relationship. And it's just, it's a great job. Like, I think we've hit the jackpot with what we got going on here.
And I know y'all also there at Clinton are well supported with sponsors and others within the community. Who else helping make this happen for you guys?
So this year for the ProStart sponsors, we have Nuke's Eatery. They are sponsoring this competition this year, so we're able to go to Baltimore. LabaLink, which is the Mississippi Latin American Business Association, and Highland Building Service. So those are our three major sponsors this year for ProStart.
And again, when you support local businesses and local companies, they are pouring back into your communities, and you may not necessarily see it in all the ways, but sometimes it's in the culinary programs and sending kids sort of off. So Treasure, if you had to tell kids listening in the car rider line today on good things to get into the culinary program in their school, what would you say? Or to their parents?
It's so fun, and I love it. I love my chefs so much. They have did a lot for me, and they've pushed me so much and so hard at many things and got me out of my comfort zone. So to be able to sit here and like do the thing that I love the most and experience things with them is really amazing.
So Hope, how about yourself? What would you say to the kids who are like, I don't know about culinary arts?
Hey, take it from me. It's fun. I didn't think I was going to be here, but I am, and it's great.
And I think, and again, there's 43 programs across the state, and if they want to learn more, see if ProStart is in their school, Chef Bruce, where would we go for that?
You can go to the Mississippi Restaurant Association's website, and it links there to ProStart or to the National Restaurant Association website.
Yeah, the Mississippi Hospitality and Restaurant Association, they have tons of information there. Erin Bushwald is the representative for that, so you could reach out to her directly as well.
All righty. Well, congratulations. We'll be following you as y'all go on to your other competitions and throughout. So good luck.
Thank you. Thank you
All
for
right.
having us.
Y'all stick with us. We got more for you coming up next.